Now joining us from Aditya Birla. Bala, what's your take of what the finance minister has in that iPad?
I think interesting. The way I think this budget is coming at a time, the GDP growth has been, of course, improving, and overall interest rates have remained somewhat low. But what is missing actually is the bigger growth that India can provide, especially at a time when the global growth is still a bit of uncertain, as you rightly mentioned about geopolitical risk. So all those things are coming at around the same time. And India is one, I think, has been doing pretty well in compared to the most of the global economy. Therefore, this budget, my own belief is, might bring in some kind of innovative way of tax structures. And given the fact that last year they took the steps of cutting down the GST rates in order to actually boost the consumption, this budget too, I think, will probably focus more on boosting the consumption by focusing on innovative tax structures, I would say, for middle class income people. That's one. And second is, last 2 years, they have been, of course, keeping the overall capex, which ultimately the investment-led demand, I think, has to continue. I don't think it will compromise on the contrary, they would either maintain it or maybe even increase the capital expenditure in order to ensure they will find ways and means of how to take the economy to the next level of growth by spending money on those infrastructure which can be acted as a public infrastructure, as well as boost the whole economic growth across the different part of the sectors. And third, of course, is the manufacturing sectors. We have made a significant progress. The PLI scheme that they introduced about 3 years back, we have seen this year, even yesterday, as I speak, yesterday the Apple CEO and globally has acknowledged the contribution of India into the global mobile manufacturing, Apple mobile manufacturing sectors. Given the fact that they already seen a success of all the initiatives that they took the last few years, there will be more PLI schemes that could also be announced in order to encourage investments in the defense, investments in energy sectors, investments in water transport sectors. And you will find some kind of innovative approaches coming in. So while, of course, all these questions will be there, but I think there's also time for, given the fact that globally, most of the economy, if you look at it, they're all fiscally weak. And India is one, I think, fiscally well positioned. And the fiscally is about 4.3, 4.4%. It's well positioned. But my own belief is, even if there is a marginal dip in the fiscal, I'm sure they will be able to actually give some kind of fiscal incentive in order to drive the overall consumption momentum. I'm expecting this budget to be somewhat more, rather the sentiment booster for both the economy as well as for the market as a whole.